Welcome to the Chronically Will podcast, where we hold real conversations with community that need to be heard. In this episode, I want to introduce you to Vanessa, aka Nechi, the best big sister ever. Vanessa is a breath of fresh air that is needed. She remains joyous and on cloud nine while also managing the non-stop commitment it takes to live with type 1 diabetes. Although she thinks of diabetes non-stop, she does not let it fully engulf her. Not only is she an advocate for type 1 diabetes, but she is a full advocate and ally for all marginalized communities, fighting against inequities and speaking loud and clear about all injustices in this world. If you are in a fight against inhumane conditions, look for this world warrior to fight with you, leading with empathy and a heart of pure gold. Diagnosed at 18, she was forced into a double adult role of managing type 1 diabetes as well as being a college freshman and learning to manage all of those nuances. Nechi is a graduate of NYU. 5 years after her own diagnosis, her baby sister was also diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Chicken, Nechi's sister, was 6 years young when diagnosed and from day one has been strong just like Nechi. Thank you, Chicken, for the support of helping the best big sister ever through her healing journey. On the day a cure is here, Nechi promises to throw us all the greatest diabetes party you could imagine. I'ma hold her to it. But in the meantime, she is ready to take on and over the world. No one can deny her of her greatness. Vanessa is someone we should all get to know, and instead of sitting on a bench and waiting, I demand today, put her in the game, coach.
I usually go as Nechi, and I'm type 1 diabetic. I've been type 1 diabetic since I was 18. So it happened when I was a freshman in college. So my transition was a little weird for me because I was a young adult. And when I went to grad school at NYU, I decided to focus on a research and shifted my research to type 1 diabetes in American schools, but for like K through 12, because I have a younger sibling that also has diabetes and she's in grade school. So it was interesting, like having my own experience, seeing my little sister navigate it now, and then doing that research in school. So I think like those things have inspired me. On top of that, I just love to advocate about diabetes. And like you said, it's very important to have us take up space like on social media and provide awareness. And it's always great when people that don't have diabetes are like, I learned so much from you. Like, thank you for sharing. That's what like keeps me going. And seeing other people post and feeling confident about their medical devices makes all the difference for me. Or seeing them go through highs, lows, sharing resources. I was born and raised in Los Angeles. Love it here. Moved to the East Coast for a bit.
Look, I love it in LA also, even though I haven't been there. If you don't know, my iconic hero, he represents the West Coast, like Tupac to the heart. Like,
oh, I love Tupac too. So
Tupac is my iconic hero, like heart of all hearts, like serious. Like, I hope that I am remnants of his work here on this earth, because Tupac said, I might not change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain of the person that will change the world. And I hope that that spark is in me, that I'm actually living part of his dream.
I love that. And you doing this and all the advocacy you do already, I think you're there. Like, so that's amazing. But yeah, so born and raised in LA. I have other siblings that don't have diabetes. But yeah, so
Thankful.
And then on my they're good. I'm glad they don't have it. And on my free time, I just love to, move my body, work out. I love to enjoy nature, read a lot of books, but I also like to have fun. So I go out with friends, still live a normal life regardless of diabetes. So, and I love to spread awareness about it. So I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you for being here. And you just gave me everything about you in probably like 2 minutes or less. And that tells me that you're a real like people person. And I enjoy that. You did drop a small like detail in there, and I don't know how much congratulations, how congratulatory people are towards that, but you went to NYU. Not everyone gets to go to NYU. NYU is a prestigious university. Like, seriously, everyone doesn't get admitted there, and you were. Um, how was that knowing LA to New York?
Thank you. I knew I wanted to move, and I loved New York because I visited before. And I think my only way to like securely be in a new city was I wanted to do grad school regardless. So I said, why not NYU? Um, and it was during like peak pandemic. So I did 1 year on Zoom. So the transition wasn't too crazy. And then after that, I moved there for 2 years and a half. Um, I loved everything about NYU, the space, the environment. I feel like since I was older and in grad school, I was able to enjoy the city differently compared to like if I was younger. Um, and I really loved my program because it was sociology and education like combined. But I was able to apply, something I love and I'm interested in, like type 1 diabetes research within that. So I really appreciated that my department supported my research topic, because I do think that diabetes isn't only scientific. It's very like a lot of the things that society does is very much involved. School dynamics and education system has a lot to do with type 1 diabetes, racial inequities, all that plays a role. And I was able to highlight all of that in my research. And it was because I was supported through my department. Because I could have easily they had no idea about type 1 diabetes. So
Right,
when I
most people
explained it,
don't.
yeah, so I feel like I had to kind of like explain, and then they're like, okay, I see how you can relate it to like the education and society world.
You broke up for a second. You said related to society.
And like in the education world as well. And so that I was able to do that, and I did, and I was so happy with the outcome and my living experience in NYU. It was amazing. So yeah, I was very grateful. Love the East Coast, but decided to come back to where the heart is,
Right,
LA.
right. And also, I mean, New York is, there's a lot going on in New York. There's a lot on in LA, but the big differential is the weather. Like, if you grew up sunny days, sunny nights, light stayed on till 10 p.m. Coming to New York, coming to the East Coast. I mean, that's where I'm from, the East Coast, the Philadelphia area. So, yeah, when I do travel, I'm like, wow, they wake up to this every day. Yeah,
Yeah.
the lights are always on. Yeah, they say that it never rains in Southern California. Is there truth to that?
No, I was just reading the past 3 days, but once rain is gone, the sun is out for a while.
Right, and you get to just enjoy everything that the earth has there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I would say seasons also allow you to appreciate seasons. Like
mhm.
I love fall. I love the transition of like winter and then seeing the leaves come to life. I think it gives you a different perspective of the world and like how things are necessary, like outgrowing things, letting things die for new things to blossom. I
To
think
blossom.
I enjoyed seeing that, and I think you don't get that over here. So
Mhm. I
it
mean,
depends.
I truly do enjoy the life science in general, just being able to see the transition from seedling to root to flowers blossoming and seeing them every year turn back that hand and then return. Like it's a great transition and things that I love. But I being from the East Coast and being here predominantly my entire life, um I don't truly enjoy fall. Like I see a lot of people say, you know why?
Why?
Because fall means that winter and snowstorms are coming. Like snowstorms on the East Coast, the Northeast are like, to me, as a kid, I loved them. But as an
Mhm.
adult living with chronic health conditions and whatnot,
Yeah.
I don't want to shovel. But I understand like someone not being from here, like, yes, fall is amazing. All seasons are amazing, seriously. Hopefully I'll
Yeah.
be able to get out to the West Coast soon. It's been a while.
Yeah, you need to check it out. Yeah, you need to come check out LA specifically.
Right. Now, you grew up in LA. Do you see a great transition like we do see in all metropolitan areas, especially urban areas, um, heavily populated areas that, I mean, I know my family, we grew up in the inner city.
Mhm.
Do you see that great transition that we do see in like Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, DC with um the facade, like everything changing, the buildings, the structures, the availability to resources and things of that nature? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to
Um,
say the word as it is, you know, gentrification.
yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna say. I definitely see it 1,000%. Even in my area, I live in a place called Mid City, which wasn't as popular, but it's like a great location because you're 15 minutes from downtown, 15 minutes from the Hollywood sign, 15 minutes from the beach without traffic. Um, so it's a great, and down my street, it's just all the buildings are like being gentrified. Like neighbors are getting kicked out, buildings are being made, coffee shops on every corner, which I think, yes, the streets look nice, whatever,
Right.
but I
They
don't
look
appreciate that.
pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't appreciate that people in the community are being displaced.
Mhm.
And even like in downtown LA, like let's talk about the building that I don't know if you've seen it on Instagram, but the big tall building that was like tagged up by a lot of like taggers. I don't know if you've seen it.
I
And
haven't.
if not, I recommend you look it up. So it's like this abandoned building that's been sitting there for years because they never finished it. And it was like a high rise, super pretty, like big downtown, like luxury building. And it's been sitting there for years. The owner or whoever owned it decided to stop constructing it.
Uh-huh.
And so they tagged it up. And I think it looks really cool how
I was
like
about to say it probably looks beautiful, amazing
it
now.
looks amazing. And so, but now that that happened, all of a sudden, Los Angeles is putting a lot of money to take off the tagging and like gate it up. So it's like it's unfortunate, but yeah, definitely check that out. I think that's a great example of what's going on in LA.
Yeah, I was talking to a young lady yesterday who's from Chicago, and she was talking about how um different people were coming into the community, and she said it looks beautiful and stuff, but she said it's nothing like what she grew up with, and the access to certain things are there now. But also, when she grew up in that community, they're they were food deprived. Like they didn't have local markets and grocery stores that they can go to. Um, so, and she said, but now they're doing these things for people who aren't from the community. What are they actually doing for people who've been there forever, who's helped build and structure this community, who've helped pull in resources when they didn't have anything, things of that nature? And I was like, it's happening all over the US, until there's legislation put forth that protects us as a people. um, all we can do is really show up, show face, and let them know that this isn't acceptable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
And I have seen through your Instagram feed like you're passionate about the work that you do. And I tell people like myself, you called me an advocate. I don't call myself an advocate. You know what I call myself?
What?
An actionist.
Okay.
Because I say like I don't, I mean, even like yourself, we don't only talk about the things that we do, we actually hop into it and handle it, get jobs done, bring people along with us. Like many advocates, they look from the outside and they share things and whatnot through their stories, through their feeds, things of that nature. They may write letters. I mean, that is a part of advocacy, but we
Yeah.
actually show up. We show up for our people. We show up for our communities. We show up for people globally and worldwide because we know what it feels like to be placed in a situation where you don't fully control everything that that is in front of you, as far as like growing up or living with chronic health conditions. We do not have full 100% control over the things we do. So we do
Yeah.
strongly relate to communities of people that are being displaced here where we live and afar because it directly affects us.
Yes.
Yeah, I commend you on that work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and then, I know that you said like you went to NYU and I think you said you got your master's in sociology and education, or you're working towards
Yeah.
it. Or did you complete your completed?
Yeah, I completed it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it shows with the person that you are. Did you grow up with that in you?
Like being, I would say
Or maybe, or was there something that transpired through your life that made you like, this is what I must do?
in regards to like advocating for people, or in regards to like the diabetes advocacy, or like,
Advocating in general, going to school for sociology and education, it's all part of the same realm,
yeah,
helping.
I, yeah. Looking back at my life, since I've always, I'm a first generation college student, first generation. My mom, and my dad both migrated here when they were young. They were like 16 years old. So seeing them navigate, you know, Los Angeles and the world, like working really hard, like double jobs, um, really just seeing them kind of struggle financially and like not like that was very humbling growing up. And so, but also seeing my mom get pretty far, she's always inspired me. Like, despite not her having like, papers or anything, she still went to high school when she got here, took a few community college classes, and then became an accountant. She currently works at crypto. So I'm like, she did that all by hustling and like
Oh, yep.
at Burger King, working at McDonald's, and like I barely got to see her growing up, but she's always showed me like her work ethic and saying like you need better for yourself.
That
And then
drive.
so yeah, I think I really got that from her. And then it wasn't until I got into undergrad where I started taking like a sociology class and actually started learning history and unlearning history that was taught to
Right.
us in K was when I really found like my passion for advocating for those that cannot. And then on top of that, getting diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, it just all kind of hit me at once when I was like an undergrad that like I need to speak up and I am my own voice. And once I was able to find my own voice, I was able to spread that with others. But it took a long time to get there because I went through it when I found out I had diabetes and I was in denial for years. But I decided to turn my life around, and it's like, am I either going to live my life miserably or am I going to try to thrive and make the best out of it? And then that led me into the direction of advocating and being able to voice like for everyone else and other things. It creates that space and room, but it takes time. And I think it all starts within you. Um, but yeah, it took years to get there. I would say it really started probably like senior year of high school and then going to college. Like that really just catapulted me into like, picking a side, standing for what I firmly believe in, but also being open to, all right, let's hear what you have to say. And once I've done my research, my history, I'm like, no, like that's not going to work for me.
Right. You're
Yeah.
truly something that I was taught when I was maybe in elementary school, fourth, fifth grade. I remember we did a assignment on American history, and there was a big word, like two words on the chalkboard. It said American dream, and it gave a definition of what the true American dream was. And although like we know that the American dream can be whatever we want it to be, because we this land that we live in, we know that like your family, your ancestors, you said they migrated here. In my head, in my mind, in my heart, I know that it's the land of the people. Like,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
you migrated to a place that is yours. Yeah. So like American dream, it says the true American dream is to see your kids more or do better and be more well off than you were. So I know from your mother, she knows that her children are living the true American dream. And I'm pretty sure she had many of nights, days where she sacrificed just being able to be there, be present. But today, I know that she probably has no disregard or regards for anything that she did, that she had to do. And I know today, like, you probably have the greatest kinship with her, even as her daughter now. I mean, because you saw how hard she worked. You
Yeah.
saw, as you said, like, your parents migrate to here, and I mean, basically, they took on and took over the world that they lived in.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell your mom that I said respect.
I'll let her know.
Look, um, growing up, you said you were 18 when you were diagnosed. Ahead of your diagnosis, what were like some of the things you did, maybe for like entertainment, leisure, like
Yeah.
hanging with your friends?
So the one thing that like I miss a lot, and I wouldn't say diabetes stopped it, but it just so happened to align when I got diabetes, I stopped in a way. But growing up, I played soccer, and I think that's what really kept me in school, like out of the streets and being like bad, I guess. You know, you need to meet grades to play. So I started playing soccer when I was in third grade, and then I played for my community college for a little bit. And then right after one semester, I got diabetes. I just stopped because I didn't know how to control sugar levels on the field. I didn't have medical devices, so I had to like prick my finger or feel it through a needle. And I had to like manually inject. So I just decided to stop playing after I got diabetes. But soccer was basically the highlight of like K through 12 for me, and like going to games. And, you know, my dad would take me to my soccer games on the weekends, and that's how we bonded growing up. So I would say I really miss that.
You know,
Just playing.
there are many adult clubs with people who haven't played or in like 20 years. I mean, a few years ago, I joined some like adult basketball leagues, and I hadn't played in forever. And I mean, once you get out there and you see everyone else is like, it's almost like a new sport to them as well. So,
Okay.
you know, it's still
Maybe I'll try.
available.
Yeah, I need to like heal that inner child wound, but I just
Right.
stopped after that. So I think that was one of my favorites. You know, hanging out with my cousins was a big thing. Like we would get dropped off at one cousin's house, and then there was like 8 of us just up to no good, to be honest. But it was so fun.
Sneaking out late nights, all those types of things, keeping
Yeah,
secrets. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what we
it
do.
was fun.
That's what we do. I mean, my cousins, I grew up with them as I say, I grew up with them as my siblings, and I'm pretty sure you did the same. So yeah, there's
Yeah,
nothing better than that cousin love.
100%. So I feel like those two things really stand out to me before my 18-year-old mark.
Right. Yeah, everything I'm hearing about you, like it's truly amazing and interesting. What's one thing about yourself that you feel as though like is high, like interesting, like you want to know what you would like everyone to know about you, the person?
As a person, I would say in general, I would like, I feel like since diabetes is like people just see that, I would love them to just kind of know me without it. Like me, Nechi, Vanessa, whatever you want to call me, like as a person, I think, you know, I'm very warm and like welcoming to everyone unless like someone gives me a reason to not like vibe or something. Um, I love reading books and I love writing poetry too. I think that's something that a lot of people don't know. Like I love to write, like journal all the time. I have so many thoughts. Um,
I love that.
so yeah, I think I have like an inner creative side of me that I think I should put out there more because
Do it.
it's
There's so many spaces, so many avenues where you can just hop in there and bring your journal, your poetry, and just let it out. And there's a community of people that are waiting to hear you. They need to hear you because it will help them along their journeys in life, you know, because we all have our favorite artists. And if we can listen to
Mhm.
go in to see our favorite artists or listen to them, we will at all times. And you are someone's favorite artist. Believe that.
Thank you.
So
Bucket list.
put it
Join
on
spaces, it's soccer.
put it on your to-do list.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I equally like I love writing, journaling, but I always tell people in my past life, like I wrote music, engineer, produce, I rap, like everything. Like I love the arts, but
Yeah.
and I'm a master visual artist as well. So yeah, the arts
The way
are.
you see it, you're so good at like all the videos and like editing and putting everything together. It's
You think so? It's like
yes, it takes work and time
every, yeah.
and you do it. You get it
I
done.
I just I mean I truly just I love what I do.
Yeah.
Every aspect of it. Like even in this realm, like diabetes world, like I actually love doing every bit of what I do because I mean it's not a job. I do all this stuff like just because it's like it's an emotional thing,
Hmm.
attachment, because nowhere else in this world am I going to find people that actually go through the same things that I do, because
Yeah.
I also work as a trauma and art therapist. But when I work with people in that realm, I have to like truly like embody who they are as a person to help them navigate what is life in this space. It's like freely, I don't even like, I don't truly have to embody it because I know that the
Yeah.
things that I'm going through, you've been through or similar things. And
Yeah.
just being able to like even like reach out to someone or just like a photo or comment on something, like it's like you're my family.
Yeah.
So like this is just a part of me. It's not my plan, it's God's plan, you know.
Hmm.
You mentioned earlier that about being like an ally and advocating. I personally, even like through the diabetes looks like who video that we did, I had a whole chapter for people at the time that lived in Gaza, Palestinians that recorded. and
Wow.
one lady, she reached out to me and was like, it's not the time, don't release that. And I said, I respect you. I said I will put it to the side. But then I was like, matter of fact, I'll give it to you, so whenever you want, because it's like a group of like 5 people who recorded from the area. And this was like when everything was first going on. And a week later, she reached out to me and was like, it's too traumatic right now. And I haven't spoken to her in a while, but I know she's still out there and doing all the work that she needs to do. But
Yeah.
I see sitting from my desk the work that you do to inform people on the tragedies that have been transpiring. It's equal to the other day I was at the library and I look out the window and there's all of these cars rallying, and you see the Palestinian flags and people out there. And it reminded me of a few years ago. I don't remember where it occurred, but there was rallying with people of native descent here in the US regarding the pipeline structures that were being built, going through pride lands and historic grounds. And everyone, like I remember seeing people out on the highways like rallying. And the same thing with the effects of the tragedy of George Floyd. We all got together, we rallied. It's like it's something we do as a people.
Yeah.
It's not even something that we plan. I mean, we can't plan for it because it's not the expected. But as a people, knowing our background, our history, we know that every single thing that we've had to do in this lifetime, we've had to fight, we've had to come together. And
Hmm.
what I see from you that I don't see from many is not only are you rallying and coming through for people, I mean, your background, your heritage, but you rally and you come to the defense of any and everyone who's from marginalized communities, disenfranchised communities, just people who aren't given the platform to be unapologetically themselves and share their truths. And I truly I really truly see that, and I value the dedication you have to that. To yourself, it's probably like, oh, it's just me. It's normal me. This is what I do. But just let you know, there are little black and brown boys and girls and families that see these things. They see you in action. And just by seeing you in action, it lifts them up and motivates them to also be at their best and rally for people who can't rally in the presence for themselves.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and I think for the longest time I was always conflicted, like, oh, but I'm like, I don't care anymore. Like, I will ruffle some feathers. And if you don't like it, then just unfollow me or don't talk to me. So I think that's why sometimes a lot of people are afraid to post or advocate as much, because it's like, oh, I don't want to get anyone mad or ruffle their feathers. But I'm like, enough of that, because if not, we wouldn't be where we are today, and we still have so much work to do for the future. So thank you for that, and like reassuring that it feels great to hear that, truly.
Yeah, I have to give you your flowers. I mean, if we never meet in person, if we never ever do meet in person, I mean, this is a platform for me to actually give you those flowers, to let you know that you are more than appreciated here and beyond, because the people love you. You know, you were 18 when diagnosed, correct?
Yes.
Do you remember the 17 years before then?
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
I was 20 when diagnosed. So I truly do remember those 20 years, those 19 years before, and how my life did make a huge transition.
Mm-hmm.
How has how did that affect you then as compared to today? Like, do you ever think about that?
Yeah. I mean, for the first 2 years of having type 1 diabetes, I grieved my old life. I felt like I see food and I just don't, like, I got triggered when I saw food, because it's no longer like I can just take a bite of a chip and not think of a carb.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the impact any food would have on my sugar level, and like how that would impact how I felt throughout the day. So I remember I grieved it, and I was like, I just want to go back to when I didn't see food the way I see it now. And it really led to like even like a eating disorder, because food triggered me.
Mm-hmm.
And it pissed me off for so many years. And I had to learn to really accept it and like go through all the stages of, losing something. Um, and that's what got me out of that like little loop of like,
Mm-hmm.
I miss my old life.
Got you out of that fog, just that whole mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I used to often think about that, my old life. Because we were teenagers, really, like
Yeah.
kids, just the world of opportunity out there. Today, do you feel as though you've addressed many of those initial concerns, and are you more like responsive in your actions and managing your diabetes?
Yeah, 1,000%. And I think because I was 18 and in undergrad, I was like, I just want to party. I want to go be normal. I want to be with my friends. And because I was 18, my parents, like, they're a great support system, but they didn't take the time to learn about diabetes, I would say. Like, they didn't know that I had to carb count or how to carb count. They didn't know the difference between like my long acting versus my short acting insulin. They just kind of knew that I had to inject before every meal, and that if I was low, I had to eat candy. And then she would, if my sugar was high, she'd be like, well, why is your sugar high? Fix it. Like my mom would say stuff like that. So she didn't really, I didn't feel supported from my family in the sense that anyone sat with me to learn about it and help me navigate a new world. So I think that took a big toll on me as well. Like I felt hurt. And it's crazy because it was really a full circle moment. And not that if I could go back, I wouldn't want my little sister to have diabetes. But when my sister got diagnosed, obviously my mom is her caregiver. So she actually had to learn about carb counting, injecting highs, lows, and the roller coaster that it comes with. And she was
And
like, damn.
now
And
she knows.
she in the hospital room, she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't support you through this. Like, and I really feel like that healed a part of me that I
Mhm.
just needed like her to acknowledge how much work. Cause I think so many people, friends, family see us look healthy. I'm active every day,
Right.
but they don't see how hard it is. We make it look easy sometimes, I would say. And so I think her acknowledging that really healed an inner wound that I got when I didn't feel supported when I was young. And that really like also when my sister got it, I was like, it's time to really take my health serious because I need to set the example for her. So I don't know. I just give a lot of the credit to my little sister because she inspires me to be the best diabetic I can be because I want to be that example for her. And I just want to be healthy as well. But that really like shifted my trajectory of my diabetes life and like stepping full force into it, accepting it, going with it. It was that truly. I don't really know. I have to give her all the credit.
Thank you, chicken.
Yes, thank you, chicken.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, your mother, she truly did not know the things that you were enduring. I say nonstop, even more so than 24/7, 365. It's literally nonstop. We can't take a pause and go do this or that. We must manage this forever until something else comes about to make this easier for us and our lives that we live. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that, like you said, once your mom found out about your little sister and her diagnosis, a lot of rewinding started happening within herself.
Yeah,
So as she was rewinded, she probably began a healing process and a healing journey that was needed. And your sister's diagnosis helped you in rewinding and beginning that healing process too that needed to occur. So that's a great being your sister being diagnosed isn't a great thing. You not having the support that you needed at that time is not a great thing, but families healing together
yeah,
is immaculate, because if you can heal together all at once, then you all can continue and hop on the journey and the paths to be even better versions of yourself for everyone.
yeah. I agree. And you said it so beautifully. Like, yeah, I really just felt even at that moment, I was like, now I know why I got diabetes. Like, if I knew 5 years before my sister got it that I had to prepare for my little sister, I would have been okay, let's do it. But it wasn't until she got it when I was like, now I know why I got it, and this is like our journey in a way without me knowing it. And I think my mom, all of us collectively, yeah. And I even see her and she's just like thrives with it. She's like, I don't care. This is my medical device. Like, don't touch my medical device to her friends.
Right.
She like really owns it. And she encourages me and inspires me sometimes when I'm feeling insecure about it. But yeah, so you said it very beautifully.
Yeah. So you and your sister, y'all were diagnosed 5 years apart.
Yeah.
I just put the math together. Yeah. Yeah. 5 years. Yeah. That's very like close.
Hmm.
And but considering you were an adult, based like you were what 23, you living your Jordan year when she
Yeah.
was diagnosed, and she was still basically like a baby,
Yeah. She was
right?
6.
6 years old. Um, do you think that living with diabetes has affected you and your sister's relationship together?
Yeah. I think in general, her and I have always been like super close. Like the moment she was born, like, we love our other sisters, but even before she got diabetes, it's just there was always a click. And I don't know if that was just the universe pulling us together, like without telling us, but that's just, we just get each other. That's my little platonic soulmate.
Mm-hmm.
Will always be. And then once we got diabetes, it was even like, for her, it was like, okay, I could do it. I see my sister do it all the time. So it was an easier transition for her to accept it. Because when she would inject and didn't want to, she's like, I'll be strong like my sister. Like, we can do it. Like, you know, and like, even now when we change each other's pumps, like, she'll be like, it's okay. Like, it'll hurt for a second. Or when my sugar's high, she's like, oh, that sucks. It's okay. Like, here, drink some water. So we really support each other. And I think because she saw me do it for so many years and sees me do it, she has handled it with so much grace. And it definitely has brought us so close. Like, we share insulin sometimes when someone's like low, or like just in general, we get it.
Right. You set a great example for her. Yeah. And that's not just living with diabetes. That's just in life in general. Like, when you went off to grad school in New York, did you want to take her and put her in your pocket?
Yes, that was so hard. That was the hardest part about moving, was leaving her for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew it was necessary, and in the long run, like, she will see that when she's at my age, or, you know, she can follow her dreams and do things despite diabetes. And I hope and she loved New York. When we were there, she stayed for a week with us.
Okay.
She, like, you know, explored the city. Like, my mom loved the city, and I think looking back, she's gonna be like, if she did that, I can do it too, or if not more. And long term, I know she would appreciate it. She's happy I'm back though. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
don't leave again. But it was hard, but definitely worth it. I think also because she was newly diagnosed with diabetes, I felt guilty because I felt like I had to be here to support her. During, like, I was like, am I really gonna move across the country and leave my sister that has diabetes behind? And I just felt like I needed to do that for myself too, because at the end of the day, like, that's my sister, not my daughter. So my mom, you know, has her back.
Mm-hmm.
And it just helped me solidify myself and my own diabetes, and like put it apart so I can take care of myself and still do what I need to do, while also supporting her in whatever capacity that is at the moment. That was a really hard pill for me to swallow, but it was necessary, because I felt myself like worrying about her sugar more than mine sometimes. And like, yeah, and I just felt like we needed that break too, so my mom can really like fully take over it, and then me handling mine. And then now that we're back, it's a lot more chill compared to when she first got it. It was always like, Vanessa, you help her, even, like, you know. So it was necessary.
It was. I see that with parents who live with adults who live with type 1 diabetes who have children. They often speak about how sometimes they do let their diabetes go because they don't purposely do it, but they have to tend to their children. Mm-hmm. So you may see moms, dads fighting severe lows or highs due to the fact that they naturally, their first instinct is always to take care of their child. Speaking of like relationships, I hear about your great relationship with your mother and with your sisters. Is it all girls?
Yeah, we're all girls.
Okay. Y'all, like, it's almost like the Bryant household.
Yeah.
All girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. How has being or living with diabetes affected other relationships as far as friendships, partners, work, all those things?
Yeah, a lot. In a sense, good and bad, I would say. Very good. I guess I'll start with like the not so good things to end on a good note. But like, even when I got diabetes, I was in a pretty solid relationship at the time. And so my partner at the moment had seen me go from being non-diabetic to all of a sudden diabetic. And I wouldn't say that was fully the reason why things ended, but I do know that when the breakup did happen, he had mentioned that like everything changed when I got diagnosed, which everything did change. My life was turned upside down, and it was a whole new lifestyle that I was navigating, along with the emotions and mental health issues that come with it. So that relationship ended, and I do think my diabetes had a big part because it was just like I was a new person. I was discovering myself, and that ended. And then moving forward, like I isolated myself for like a few months from friends because I just didn't want to explain my condition. Like I was just going through it. But when I started to come out, like friends were very supportive, and they're like, "How can I help you?" Or like they always made me feel like normal when I had to inject and stuff. Um, I've had a few friends that like we're no longer friends anymore because they've mentioned a few things about diabetes, like, oh well, like if you can't, like an example was that we were gonna go to a winery, and I was just like, okay, I'm okay with like going to one winery, but I don't want a wine pop type because I don't really know how to count wine carbs. So I don't really plan on drinking too much wine. And
I
then she had
mean,
mentioned,
grapes,
yeah,
grapes in general. I mean, you got like one carb for each grape. Like that's a lot.
yeah, like I really don't know how to calculate wine carbs, but
Yeah.
like a group chat, whatever. And she mentioned in the group chat, like, well, then what's the point of you going if you can't because of your diabetes? And then I was like, that's not cool. Don't ever bring up my diabetes because that doesn't stop me from doing anything. And then my other friends had my back and they were like, hey, like that wasn't cool. I'm no longer friends with that girl, but little things like that where it's like you can't say things like that. And I'm gonna stand on my because I already go through a lot. So if you're gonna say rude comments like that, like I'm not gonna tolerate it.
Right.
Um, it's been little things like that where I've been like, damn, like that hurt a little bit because it's my diabetes. But on the positive end, I feel like I built so many great friendships and relationships because of diabetes. Like I connected, like with people like you online, and like I've even met some people in person where we bonded over diabetes. And my current friends, they're very supportive. Like my best friend threw me a diversity party in December, and all my friends put an Omnipod on, like a stick. Like I collected my old Omnipods and like
I
used
do too.
double-sided.
I feel like I have thousands of them.
Yeah, and everyone at the party was wearing an Omnipod, and then we did like diabetes trivia.
That's
Some of them
amazing.
a side change. Like I used to have the T Slim, so I had extra like I don't know, the side changes. And a few of them like actually injected themselves and they're like going through a whole roller coaster. They're like, oh my God, I don't know how you do this every day. So I feel very supportive by my friends now because they know that I'm vocal about it and I will own it. And because it took so many trials and tribulations to build a great solidified group of friends and people that support me and my diabetes. Um, but yeah, it's been a journey, and I think it still will be. Especially like with future partners. Maybe right now I'm currently single, so navigating diabetes and dating is interesting. I haven't fully wrapped, or I don't really know how to approach it sometimes. Um,
Just know that you're an individual, so I can give you advice on that, but also I can tell you, like personally, that it's you and your diabetes. So, the way that you navigate it and you explain it to someone is truly at your comfort level. Like for me personally, like I would tell someone like straight up in the beginning, like I've been married for 10 years now. And when me and my wife first started dating, that was like our first long phone call. We were on the phone for like 2 hours. You remember those days?
Kicking your feet up.
Yeah, yeah. Falling asleep on the phone type of days. I remember in that general conversation just telling her, like, I have type 1 diabetes and explaining to her, like, as much as I could within the allotted time, like, what it meant. And her just saying, like, okay, that's fine. Like, that meant everything. And if someone questions you on that in a new relationship, or if you're dating, if they question anything, like, why do you have that? What is that going to do? That person isn't the one for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in relationships and in building. One of the first rules I tell people is look for someone who's a true empath at heart. someone who truly you can see and you can feel the vibe that they actually care for individuals beyond themselves. Like even if someone you meet via social media, like if you see a feed like your own, you know that those people, they care for people beyond the people in front of them. So if they come across someone with a chronic health condition, I too think that they would do what they can to help them. So yeah. And also, if you meet someone and you want me to check them out, just let me know. Cause
I got you. I'll send you their Instagram profile.
I'm serious because that like, yeah, I will definitely check them out. I worked in education for the last 10 plus years and as a trauma art therapist, and public health. I think I've seen every aspect of human imaginable, like seriously. And
Yeah.
the relationships are key to a successful just life in general.
Yeah,
Yep,
I
yep.
agree. All really, like romantic and platonic, all important. And yeah, I think definitely moving forward, like in dates I've been in, I am very like transparent. That's something I've challenged myself to do. Is like I'm not gonna go to the bathroom to inject. I'm not gonna
Not at all.
do the most. I my carb count. Like I'm gonna just do it, and depending on the reaction, we'll say everything because that's just a non-negotiable. Is me feeling supported with my diabetes in a romantic relationship. Even in platonic, like my friends support me. They have like sometimes when I hang out with them, they're like, "Look, I brought you fruit snacks," or like, "Do you need soda?" Like, what? Let me know, and that like makes all the difference. Or they'll just say, "I hope your sugars are good today," rather than like, "Have a good day." Like little things like that make all the
Mhm.
difference. I expect nothing like that's the bare minimum for a future like partnership. So,
Right.
thank you for your advice. That was great.
Yeah, and also, I mean, yes, you're living with a chronic health condition, but we don't judge people and their history, their backgrounds. Like everyone has a crazy family side. So we don't think about like if someone tells us, "Oh yeah, my aunt is like off the rockers." So when you meet her, well, my diabetes is also off the rockers. So when you meet
Yeah.
it, it's unexplainable. Yeah, this relationship that I have with diabetes, I mean, today it's at its best. But we do remember, like you said, those first 2 years. The first 2 years for me were equally okay. Yes, I have diabetes and it's changed me, but I'm still young and I'm going to do whatever I want to do. When in hindsight, I look at that and be like, I risked so much during those first few years.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
What my blood sugar was for the first few years, who knows?
Yeah.
You could just throw up any number in the air and catch it.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I guess it was fun times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so could you tell me, we haven't spoken about this. Can you tell me about your own diagnosis story?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. So at the time I was in community college. So what was I doing? I was in community college. I was taking school very seriously because I wanted to get into a good school. So I was just like studying all the time. At the time, our living situation was a little rough. We had like a one bedroom with like I want to say like 8, 9 people crammed in one because my family, my like mom, sister needed support. So it was just a very crowded, stressful environment for everyone, I think, in terms of like not having space in the apartment, me going to school, like family things were going on. So I think all that really kind of maybe triggered my,
You had that mental trauma also.
yeah, I felt like that
Many
triggered it.
people that I speak to in this space had that mental trauma as opposed to, like younger people usually have that come across about like sickness.
Yeah, like they
Yeah.
get a cough or something, but
Yeah.
I think mine was from stress and like anxiety,
Same.
um, and not having a good, peaceful environment. Um, so yeah, I remember it was like in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And when I saw my family in Thanksgiving, like, everyone was together, they started telling me, like, you look sick. Like, are you okay? Like, you look skinny. And I was like, well, I'm not doing anything. Like, maybe I'm just stressed because of school. Like, it's fine. And I had lost like 30 pounds in a month. super thirsty, the typical, had to pee like every 10, 15 minutes. It was horrible, like insane. That's like crazy, right? Like we looked sick.
Mm-hmm.
We were sick. So yeah, I had lost so much weight. And I remember I was kind of like annoyed because I had went Black Friday shopping after Thanksgiving and I got the cutest pair of jeans. But then December they didn't fit. And I was like, what the heck? Like I just dropped all this money on jeans. But anyway, so I remember I had to use the bathroom like so much that I would go to like lay down in bed and pray that I fell asleep before I had to get up to pee. Like I was like, please, like let me go to sleep. Like I don't want to. I remember praying to knock out before having to pee. Because
you will hear an episode when this fully gets released this spring where I'm actually speaking to my father and I'm telling him about that, me praying in the bathroom and outside the bathroom.
wow. Yeah. So it was just crazy. So, and then I even remember even friends telling me, like my best friends, her family, they were like, is Vanessa on drugs? Like is she okay? Like you should check in on her. Which they were just concerned because I looked sick and I was like, no, I'm okay. There's nothing wrong. But I really did feel like, it got to the point where my mom, like as a Mexican, we're very much like, let's go to Tijuana, which is, the Mexican border. And it's like, let's go check out a doctor over there. Cause all you need to do is really just pay them and then they'll take you in rather than here. You need like, I went to the doctor here in LA and they literally were like, you're fine. I'm like, looking back, I gave them my diagnosis. I was like, can't stop using the bath. And they still didn't like do anything. So shame to them. But so we went to Tijuana, kind of like, we just got medicine, still didn't get diagnosed. I remember crossing the border. I was crying in the car because it's like 3 hours in the car to like cross. And I was like, I can't hold my pee. Like I can't, like I physically couldn't. It was so bad. Like, I had to get out the car, I had to go find a bathroom. It was just so bad. Like my family was like, we don't know what's going on. So whatever, like that weekend after the Tijuana thing, like the border, I couldn't get out of bed. My mom's like, help me with the groceries. And I was like, I literally can't help you. Like I can't move. Like if she didn't take me to the hospital that day, I think I would have been in a diabetes coma. But she's like, I'm gonna take you to the hospital. I can't no more. So we went, and then that's when I got diagnosed. And my sugar was like, I want to say like 750, maybe 800. It was really high. And then they kept me overnight in the hospital, and just like that, your life changes.
My dad actually told me, he was like, put on your clothes, we're going to the hospital. The stories are like, it's almost near identical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just think if people didn't recognize the illnesses or recognize you physically, the change in you, it may have went even longer before you were actually diagnosed.
Yeah.
So that's why it's great to tell people, like, to see the signs, the frequent urination, the thirst, the exhaustion, the weight loss, like those signs are real. And did you see them? Did your mom or yourself see them in your sister?
Yeah, I saw them. I remember I started noticing and I was like, Mom, we need to check her sugar.
You diagnosed her?
I diagnosed her. And I remember when we first brought it up, my little sister was like, no, like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I refuse to get blood. I let it go for 3 days. I was like, okay, like, I'm not going to force you. But then I remember again, I was like, I just knew. And I was like, Mom, we need to check her sugar. And so we did. And I remember it was like night and we did. And her sugar was high. It was like 400. And my mom's like, no, like, there's no way. Like, check my sugar. Like, let's make sure that the machine is working.
Right.
So we checked my mom's sugar, normal. So then we checked my little sister's again, high. And I'm like, she has type 1 diabetes. And they took her to the children's hospital and my mom basically told her, like, I think my daughter has diabetes. Can you confirm? And obviously they did. She stayed there for a few days, did the whole trend, like, positioning. But I want to say I caught it like 2 weeks in.
I know that had to be like devastating at the time. Like, I mean, just to think about it, because I equally have a little brother, and I'm like, no, if he was diagnosed, it'll, but yeah. But like you said, she helped better you, and you're bettering each other today. upon diagnosis, were you treated the way, how, I'm just going to say it, were you treated just by the medical team? Did they actually do everything they did in that short time to educate you as much as possible on living with diabetes? Did you get a type 1 diagnosis?
Yeah, I got a type 1 diagnosis right away, but looking back, it was pretty, excuse my language, but yeah, I was doing like syringes as injections when they already had pens available. Um, I got like, I stayed overnight one night, and the next day they're like, okay, like this is it, go pick up your medication. Saw an endocrinologist, got another quick like session by a diabetes educator. And that whole session, I just cried. Like I remember returning to therapy rather than counting carbs, or I just was crying to her because again, I went alone. Like my parents didn't go with me because I was old, I guess. So I was just like in disbelief. And I remember the nurse and I, the diabetes educator and I, like she just heard me crying, and like we just talked about it and how I need to accept it. And like she gave me the basics of counting carbs, but it wasn't really what I needed at the time.
And nothing that you can retain at the time.
At all. Like so much information. So it was really like trial and error and learning on my own. And I remember even going home from the hospital and my family was there, and they're like, again, at the time I had like 8 people living in a 1-bedroom. And they were like, so what do you, like, does that mean you can't eat no more? Like, what is it? Like, everyone was just asking me 1,000 questions. And I was like, just crying, like, leave me alone. Like, I don't know what's going on. So yeah, and I was afraid of carbs for a long time. I remember I just ate salads, like kept my carb count to like 25 to 30 per meal. I was so afraid of carbs. And it was not what I needed. Even when I would go to get checked up, I would ask for medical devices like the Dexcom, and they wouldn't give it to me. Like it was ridiculous. So I really do feel like my first 2 years of diabetes was rough because of the medical, like insurance and like the providers. And I didn't know how to advocate for myself at the time. So I felt like I got like the worst amount of tools and resources. And it wasn't until I transferred to UC where I got like quality, because I went to my UC doctors and he was like, why aren't you on a Dexcom? Like you had diabetes for 2 years. And I was like, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I think this is someone, asked a question recently. What is something you would ask for when, or something that should be a given when diagnosed with a chronic health condition such as type 1 diabetes? And it was a question in someone's story, and I replied, every newly diagnosed person, whether they're a child or an adult, if it's a child, their parent, if it's an adult, yourself, should directly have some kind of therapeutic mental health specialist that works with them. Because for a parent, the entirety of your child's life is changing. And for an adult, you're taking on all of this as your own. It's so much. It's more than a physical burden. It's a mental burden and strain that equally needs care as we do physically.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and we are not gifted those things. Why they didn't offer you the needed medical supplies and devices, I don't know. We may never know. But today, in this day and age, there are still people that look like you and me that are equally not given those resources when they're readily available. Most hospitals carry these devices. All endocrinology specialists carry these devices. Considering that we have to do everything 24/7, 365 nonstop just to live, these things should be gifted to us. It should be like, here you go. You got diabetes. here's your welcome kit.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
that included.
Yeah, like I'm even down for a color party. You can give me a whole thing of blue, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's still alarming today to know that just because of the skin we're in, we don't get everything.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
that was highlighted in my research as well. It was like the racial inequities in the healthcare industry, including like specifically type 1 diabetes, like the gap between like medical devices, all that between like who wears them and who doesn't is insane. Um, and it's a problem. Like everyone deserves it. Even I would argue like type 2 diabetics
yep.
will benefit off of the Dexcom. Like, you know, it's
Hmm.
just, but it's all money at the end, and it's all like who gets the resources, or who are they
Right.
less likely to turn down to like if they ask for a medical device.
They say we need federally funded programs so that everyone can be able to attain things of that nature. But I mean, the medical discrepancies, they date back to even before the advent of insulin, because in 1922, when insulin was first given, there were children in Toronto, because it was first given at the University of Toronto.
Mm.
There were children who weren't even allowed to go to the University of Toronto because of the color of their skin. Native and indigenous children that we both have um, I guess backgrounds, genetic relations with the indigenous people, indigenous culture. My great grandmother was an indigenous woman who actually passed in 1954 from type 1 diabetes. But
Wow.
many of the children, I've done research on this over the years and I've shared it. If you ever want to look in my bio on Instagram, you'll see that the children who were deemed chronically ill and sick, the indigenous children there, the natives, they were actually put in reform schools and sent there to actually die instead of
Wow.
being given. Many of them may have had diabetes,
Hmm.
where at the time insulin was being delivered and wakening children from comas.
Yeah.
People of color that were a large population of that area were not given those needed medications.
Not surprised.
Yeah, it's crazy when we think about medicine and technology equally.
Yeah,
Yeah, they should go hand in hand.
they do.
So Nechi, it's been like truly great, like really getting to know you as the person, even beyond diabetes. Even though diabetes is truly what brought us together in this space, and I hope that, I mean, as long as we're or persons are out there living with chronic health conditions, that they too have a community of people that they can go to that supports them even from afar, because being able to have a space like this truly does help me, and I hope that it equally helps others.
It definitely helps me, I will say.
Now, do you feel as though how do you feel about the future as far as diabetes goes? Because you're young and you're thriving with it. Your sister is younger and she's thriving with it. What do you see in the near future or the perceived future as far as diabetes care goes?
Um, that's an interesting question. I would say, I mean, obviously technology with where we are, I know it's only gonna continue to skyrocket and continue to change in positive ways, I would say. Um, but I still think there's so much work to do with, let's take technology aside, let's take basic things we need to control our diabetes. I would say, again, bringing it back to like, you know, like an equitable society in a sense. Like I went to diabetes camp with my little sister last summer, and we went full scholarship. There's no way we would have afforded $3,000 plus to attend.
Right.
And that camp was life changing for my little sister and for me. Like, I didn't realize how much I needed that as an adult. Let alone my little sister who loved it. And we just learned so much, got so many resources, bonded with diabetics, learned about the future, learned so many tips and tricks that not everyone gets because those spaces are very limited, especially with like people of color taking up space in them because we just cannot afford it or like don't know about it, don't have the resources. Like, I think if all of that gets better and we're able to provide more programs like that for the community, there's a lot of positive change that can happen because I think mentally, like the kids, that changes something in their head. Like I see a lot of type 1 diabetics. I'm not the only one. And I know my sister feels seen when she had a lot of friends her age have devices. Even in regards to schools, like school nurses, more like low income communities don't have a full-time nurse.
Right.
So the quality care of a type 1 diabetic student in a low income school versus like a well-funded school, completely opposite. I think we need to do more in that aspect and like get more equity in that. And then I will see everyone thriving as a collective. And even medical devices are so expensive. So I think if everyone has the resources and means, there's really positive change in diabetes. But I think we just need to kind of level up, like equal out the playing field and provide these resources for more people. Because I know if I wasn't here, my little sister would never go to diabetes camp, would never like have someone advocate for her in school for, her Section 504 plan, which I'm sure a lot of parents don't even know what that is.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of work socially and like justice, like social justice, like to really get an equitable like field for type 1 diabetics. Aside from that, I think it can be very positive because we have so much technology. Just spreading the resources, I think, will make all the difference. And even relating it back to how you had a conversation with someone that grew up in like food deserts, where you live has the biggest difference on, our quality of life and like sugar levels and managing and what's easy and whatnot. So there's a lot of work in that I think will help the future for type 1 diabetics. I'm optimistic though, despite all that. I'm very optimistic. I think we have a positive route and a positive way. We can live long lives with diabetes, and I can see that. So I'm excited to see what else happens, but I would love to see more, nonprofits or more new organizations that may come, really diversify and include people that need it, like, and provide more scholarships specifically for like type 1 diabetics of color or like low income, and provide workshops and stuff. I think that's what I would love to see in the future.
I would equally love to see those things because we have allocated funds that are available that aren't even being used federally for things. How long did it take for us, for you, for women? I have a sister, I have a mother, I have a daughter, have a wife. Like, how long did it take for just y'all to be able to have access to the needed supplies that you need, that women need to just live freely? Like being able to go to a dispenser freely and get the things that you need just so that you can continue on in your day, in your life. It took forever. And there was just like some kind of like big like faux pas like up there, like people, I don't know why everything is so stigmatized. Like things that are needed to just live healthy and just be fully engaged should not all come down to monies. There should be equal access for everyone across the board. Like if Johnny, whose parents make whatever seven figures, is able to get a Dexcom or an automated insulin delivery system, then anyone in any place in this world should be able to, especially if Johnny lives in California and Joe lives in California. Joe doesn't have the ability, or his parents don't have um, the resources to access those funds, but Johnny does. How is that even possible? That's when we talk about equity, equitable justice. Like, these are equal children. How is one standing on a stool this high, looking over the fence, where the other one is just standing there like, I'm already there over the fence? Like, Johnny's still trying to, I mean, Joe's still trying to reach Johnny. It's not fair at all. Have you personally ever imagined your life without diabetes?
1,000%. I mean, just because I lived, those 17 years without it, it's hard not to imagine because I lived without it for so long. I think in comparison to when my little sister is my age, I don't think she'll remember life without it because she got it so young. And there's days where I'm like over it. I'm just like, diabetes burnout happens all the time. And I'm just like, if I could just not think about my diabetes for one day, I will literally be on cloud nine. Like, there's days where it's just irritating. And I do sometimes wish to just have a break from it, but that's obviously not possible. But then I bring myself back and I'm like, okay, like, it's okay to feel or have those thoughts, but this is reality. So what can we do now to support myself at the moment? And that could be, don't check your sugar for an hour because seeing it go up or spike will trigger me. Or like, it's okay to have a rest day because you're just not feeling your best. Or it just depends what I need at the moment, and being kind with myself that draws me back to like, it's okay. But the diabetes burnout days are really when I'm like, I just wish I didn't have it today or had a break from it. So all the time I think about it, but I just have accepted it and I know it's part of me and it will never go away.
So I do want to end with this, but before I do, is there anything we didn't cover that you wanted to cover in this space?
I guess just because I just started running again. So maybe if you have any tips, but so I started running. I want to run more miles again. But it's been a struggle with my diabetes because it just plummets down.
You use Omnipod 5, correct?
Yeah, the Omnipod 5.
Now, how soon do you set your activity mode before you go running?
Like, let's say the drive to the park is like 15 minutes. I'll set it before I start driving.
Before you start driving. Yeah. So this is what I'm going to tell you. Your basal insulin that's being delivered at, let's say you go running at 3 p.m. That basal that is affecting you at that time is from the basal that was delivered at 2 hours before, between 1 and 1:30. So if you're about to go running and you're setting your activity mode 15 minutes before, you know that your basal isn't being reduced until literally 2 hours after that. So it's going to take the person to truly take notes on when you're actually dropping from the time you put it on activity mode. So you will have to go back in your settings and change your activity mode to where, or you're just adjust your activity mode to maybe 45 minutes or an hour before you go running.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's like a work in progress. I'm even thinking of setting a second like running time setting or like, cause it was just going well the whole day. I think post run as well after like eating so much sugar and candy, but I don't want it to stop me from running, obviously.
It won't.
So gotta get a better hold on that. But
We're going to get a hold on that. We're going to get a hold on whoever's in your DMs and figure that out. And the last thing we're going to get a hold on is I'm going to ask you this today. If you found out you were cured from diabetes, what would you do?
Damn. What would I do? I hate to say it, but I feel like I'd celebrate. Like I'd just be jumping in the air, probably like I never have to count a carb again.
Because I recall when I think it was your diagnosis or whatever, you like breaking down and praying things that, or was that your sister's diagnosis? It was one of them praying like, and oh, you stating like, why did this happen to me?
Mhm.
So I do see why you would have the opposite occur when if a cure happened today, like celebrate.
I would feel like that, but part of me, I would be like, whoa, what? Like I would first wouldn't believe it. Too, I'd be like, okay, is everyone else's cured or just me? Because
Everyone.
everyone, then we're all having a party. I am personally throwing a party for every previous type 1 diabetic, and we're gonna go crazy.
Look, and I'm going to mute this out. I'm just going to say, I'm going to get everybody together and say, fuck it all. We're going to take a FTS day, this day,
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
go, yeah, just go enjoy, hop on a plane, go wherever without thinking about it, not even taking a bag, just pop up and find
Mm-hmm.
whatever gear I need there.
Yeah,
And
because I'm like, is everyone's cured or just mine? Because then I would feel bad. And like,
right,
how does everyone?
we're all cured, like magically. Like, yeah, this has been a great experience joining here with you on the Chronically Well podcast, where we hold real conversations with community that need to be heard. And Vanessa, Nessa, Nechi, however you want to be presented as, she's a person that you should get to know in this community and even beyond as a person living with type 1 diabetes. And I thank you. I appreciate you for joining me on this journey.
Thank you so much. It was amazing conversation. I appreciate you for holding space and having me here. It was great.